Well, hello everybody. Long time no hear. No, I did not disappear. However, I really did not realize what the heck I put myself into by adopting a puppy. And what a great puppy it is. His name is Tiger, if you don't follow me on Facebook. But trust me, it was a shock to the system. I had a dog when I was like much younger and I completely forgot about it, right? So as soon as I got over the what the was I thinking phase and finally caught on some sleep, the monthlies, were not possible. So sorry about that, but I guess and I hope you understand. So here we are. Yay. So this particular time we are looking for transition of Aries. I'm going back to actually doing tarot scopes, like not necessarily for a month only, even though technically that would make it easier for me. So sort of like transition 23rd to 23rd sort of a thing, right? So let's jump right in, guys. And if this resonates, please subscribe, please share, please like. And yes, to get a reading with me, please check it on my website, ktarot.ca. So let's jump into your scopes for this particular Aries transition. Hello Libra, and welcome to your reading. This is for the transition of Aries. Aries is the opposite sign of yours, and that really means that this month it's going to kind of like really be tricky with your energies. Add to it Mercury retrograde transition. It is going on. It's going to last somewhere until, I think officially it finishes on the 28th of March, but it has the shadow until probably the 15th of April, and that's kind of like going to kind of like cast a little bit shadow over you as well. I absolutely see you claiming something, like we have both the Sky King and Sky Queen. You might be actually just kind of a couplehood, or it could have been something that kind of like took you by surprise. For some of you, I totally see two different storylines. I see one storyline where there is like this recognition. This is what I need. I need somebody cerebral. I need somebody who gets me. I need somebody who, yeah, I want nice manners. I want him to kind of like present himself well, that he kind of like puts proper sentences together. But I also need somebody for the future. That's why we have King and Queen. They're generally talking about either like real or imaginary couple. You are possibly coming with realization what you really need. There is like this view from the above in both of these situations. In particular, Sky King is representing you. It's that kind of like fairness. It's about not needing to over talk and rather to be kind of like really gracious, which your sign is like famous for, right? Having said that, there is like this Emperor, which actually can represent Aries. In particular, the Aries born in April, not so much the ones from March. But for those, so that's what I said, two storylines. It looks like if you have been dealing with somebody who has been born in the sign of Aries, or even somebody who maybe has a very strong Aries in their chart, it looks like there is like kind of duality. Some of you might feel, oh my goodness, like things are kind of like breaking, and maybe it was like really a realization there was like somebody else involved, or simply just rejection, that something didn't really work. This also could have been something, an aftermath of something kind of like handling or going through it. For some of you, this could have involved children, and that's why we have Fire Kitten over here. But Fire Kitten is also talking about the boost of energy, sometimes a little bit reckless energy, right? If you can see it over here, look at here, the kitty's like, tail caught on fire, and this is like not preventing him of kind of like continuing to play. So do not play with fire. Make sure that you have your distance. Make sure that you kind of like have all the I's dotted and all your T's crossed, right? So In this particular case, some of you will really be searching for stability, for comfort, for being in control, while the others will kind of like feel this exactly that has been taken away from them. So it's kind of like really interesting. Also, this is mirroring, and the bottom of the deck was Four of Sea, or Four of Cups. That really tells me that maybe there is this energy of, you know, I just really don't have energy for anything. This kind of like stuff sometimes talks about boredom, or maybe you're bored of something, or somebody's boring you, or there's like whole essential thing, and could be even this control that like, hey, why you're pushing your will on me? You know, I do know I'm Libra, I do know that I really like to accommodate people, but you know, I'm actually really tired of everything right now. This almost looks like that you're like missing your lobster meal, which kind of like could be delicacy over here, but even if there's like no interest here, it could have been like that some decisions had to be made, and it was really difficult for you. Maybe you really didn't see what it was offered. Maybe it was like too hard to see. This particular card in regular decks really talks about a person who has been offered various choices and kind of like rejecting them all. So this combination is clearly combination of letting go, at lethargy, and something that maybe is lost, something that, you know, it kind of like felt broken. Because if you look at it here, look at this, kids are reckless, and I don't know who I did the readings for. I think Leo, and I do have rose quartz on my desk, right, these little obelisks, and Safi was just pushing them off the table. So just we have the same thing over here. It's a whole bunch of things can actually be damaged and will be damaged, and we can see them over here kind of like crashed. So it was like possibly something that was not properly planned, was not properly you know, checked into it, and you all looks like making sure to kind of like do it this time. And boy, are you doing it. That kind of like stabilization, kind of like putting a crown on it. The Emperor is kind of like guiding intellectual. Interestingly enough, in this particular deck, kind of like the Emperor has these lion heads over here. So it could be also that you're dealing with somebody born in the sign of a Leo as well over here. Even though we have another couple over here. So I don't know what is going on here. All these couples are showing up upright. Right, so I see the sky, and we see our air, and we see water. Now you are clearly air, but it almost looks like you're getting into that lovey-dovey kind of like motion. Both of these kings are kind of like, even though generally technically they explain the kings are extroverts, I see neither of these kings as extroverts. I see this king kind of like, hey, look at this, like both of them have like this gorgeous king necklace, but this one is like really that silent, strong, silent type, who is really fair, and who is not going to take against you even, you know, your shortcomings. On the other hand, this one pretty much don't even care if you're the worst possible robber or murderer, because they still feel like, I mean, everybody has a heart. But this is going to be decision from logic, and this is going to be decision from the heart. So it almost looks like that you will have ability to kind of really see entire picture, the full circle, right? And it could be that something is coming in your own world. So clearly this could be numerous options. Maybe some options you're kind of like leaving and understanding how to position them, where you're kind of opening yourself up to new experiences. It could be clearly, from what I see, somebody in the sign of fire or water coming into your life. It also could be for a few of you that it could be a very pragmatic approach. So it could be earth as well, or somebody who has earth position in their chart. This kind of like to me is very interesting, that you might be meeting a person who is extreme big pet lover. And well, Libra is my ascendant, so this also is very kind of like important for me to look at it, right? Because it kind of like feels that maybe you were not able to open yourself to the world. Maybe there was like a need for you to kind of like mull it over through what you had, and maybe you got really protective. Maybe you simply got your tail burned, right? And we can see this kind of like getting burned in both of these cards. It's almost a step back, 10 of fire, where this fire is just like simply explodes and it's like run for the cover kind of like situation over here. And but 10 of fire also at the same time talks about, you know, needing to reach some kind of clarity. And yes, first and foremost, it is a needing to kind of like approach some kind of like safety and deal with situation in a completely different way, right? So needless to say, if this is some kind of like imminent future for you, and this is kind of like how you feel, it's going to be that you'll be less likely going in situations that are very passion oriented. You know, as an air sign, you're like really usually spontaneous, go with the flow, but you kind of like really judge people on presentation, and that necessarily doesn't mean just like physical presentation. As I said, you know, you just really want to know this person can actually rub two words together as well, not only just two coins. And money is actually not as important to you as long as the person is kind of like having something kind of like special, je ne sais quoi. This card can actually really talk about some secrets as well, because in the previous scene in 9 of fire, we did see that secret council kind of gathering around the fire and kind of like dwelling on the warmth and kind of like concocting the next stages. But this plan has not been fully delivered, and there's like still time over here for something that needs to be finished. So something still is brewing, but it's already moving in a new direction. A new direction it is. Again, we see this like motion forward. This is like about gathering things that could be completely different. It could be black and white. Maybe you feel, and this also could mean like from this coupling, that you're feeling that you are either kind of like very clinical and, you know, well, this person is like not checking all the boxes on my list, versus here, like, I mean, maybe you feel you're not going to open and give your emotions to everybody. So it's kind of like not so much having that kind of like clear understanding, because the Emperor is usually somebody who is more, as I said, reserved, who is making like crucial decisions and not so much ruled by the heart. Even though in this deck with the lions over here, that can actually be different. Over here there is a clearly kind of like mind over power, mind over speed. Even though I really think actually cats are faster than dogs, not necessarily the domestic cats, right? But again, we have this appearance of the lion head over here, even though this card really belongs to Cancer. And Chariot is always kind of like a single dome. It can talk about that some of you are really wondering how to move forward. So it's going to be almost like if you're in a couple, that you will wonder how it is to be a single. If you're single, you will wonder how it is kind of like to be in a couple. Almost like that proverbial grass is greener on the other side of the fence. So nonetheless, it's going to be a very enjoyable month. Something that is going to evolve, something that you're going to feel on the other side that, oh my goodness, like I did so much. And it's just going to take you, like, I mean, in a month that usually you have a low energy, you're almost like not going to have a choice. You know, like when you come home and you're all sleepy and you just like can't wait to kind of like put your head on your pillow, and then you have a flat tire. Then you have to deal with it. All of a sudden you're wide awake, adrenaline is kicking in. That's kind of like sort of like the time that you're going to have here. So what is this like basically heading? It's kind of like saying, look, you know, you're still learning. There are like still some kind of like things for Earth. It's like kind of talking about looking in the details and not kind of like being quick to make decisions. The Chariot is very quick, but nonetheless it's kind of like quickness after certain things have already been thought through in the previous stage, the Lovers. So maybe it is finally the spiritual motion for you from something in the past getting completely closure, and maybe it is like simply that you're like celebrating. I see lots of things going on over here that all of a sudden, like you feel it is a time for celebration. And that kind of like would probably fit well, because I also pull one more card for you, and this card is joy. And look at this lovely, that yellow energy. You guys start wearing yellow this month, and confidence is going to be key over here, right? So just jump in and see what happens. It's going to be one of those months, right? So it is the new phase, which is kind of like revolving, and this one in particular is inviting happiness in your life, right? And thinking about something is not the same as experiencing something, right? So this is going to feel really different. You're going to have completely different attitude in how you approach the very same things that you have been already kind of like playing with in the past. So just, you know, go with the flow. What can I tell you, right? It's kind of like walking on air, kind of like vibration of this particular card. We all have been over here, right? And this is all coming through detachment. It's not expecting any kind of outcome. Simply this card is like, take one day at a time, take 1 minute at a time, right? And you know, it's very powerful energy, which sort of like it is pushing you forward. It's one of those, as I said, adrenaline kind of like situations where you feel, oh my goodness, now I can kind of like go and pound that little kind of like, what is this, energizer drum all night long. So guys, be joyful, enjoy yourself, and just remember, it's going to be really fun this month experiencing that flow of emotion. So just go with it, go with the flow. I love you guys. You know where to find me, and if this resonated, please share and subscribe. And you can contact me through cattarot.ca. Love you guys, and wish you all the best.